This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. We may be a comic duo, but we take mental health very serious. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is completely online. BetterHelp is a network with over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network.
You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/amp. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/amp.
Good morning, good afternoon, grab your coffee, grab your tea. I have had way too much coffee today, so I'm drinking water now. I like the bubblies. I like the carbonated water. Some people make fun of me for it, but I don't care. Plain water is hard for me to drink. Like if I could get the fanciest of Stanleys, throw ice in there, throw the fanciest of crystal clear water in there, and I still do not enjoy it. So I do bubbly. Anyways, grab a drink and come listen. This is going to be short because I got a few things to do today. I got a lot of meetings this morning. So I want to talk about receiving your first bad, and I'm putting this in quotes, bad review. So I went online this morning looking at my book, Anxiety Makes Me Poop, same as the podcast here. And I received a 3-star. And I knew they were coming, right? Because I'm in a whole bunch of different groups with authors that say, people just troll and all that kind of stuff, and you have to ignore it. Of course, I didn't ignore it because that's just who I am. And I went, oh, well, crap. And immediately my brain went, well, screw you. And then I started thinking of the people that bought my book. And then I thought, well, maybe it was them because they just don't want to be a supportive friend or a family member, or they thought a story was about them, which it was 100% not, because none of these people I talked to that are in my books, the examples that I give. So of course I went through the whole roller coaster of emotions for about 3 minutes and then went, yeah, no, I don't care. So it was a 3-star click. It wasn't even a review. So I can't even read why they gave me the 3 stars to improve, to set some improvements for the next book. So again, that doesn't matter. They were just wimpy enough to click 3 stars and not share with me anything. So that being said, we do receive some bad reviews on stuff when we put ourselves out there. You look at any musician, actor, actress, anybody on anything, any movie, any song, and there are people out there that just don't like your stuff. And that happens, and that's fine. I talked to one of my life coaches today, and she kind of broke down how she feels about reviews. So, and I thought it was very, very interesting, and I will definitely not say this as great as she did, but I want to start off by sharing what she wrote, and then we're going to talk about how to get through these reviews, or how to get, and that could be even at work too, right? You get all this great stuff that they say to you during fiscal year reviews or yearly reviews. And then there's that one thing that might eat up at you, right? So we can talk about that. Her name is Sufani, and she said that 4 and 5 are very good. Some people just don't ever give a 5. So 5s and 4s just means that, they loved it. It was great. And that was it. 3 to her means like a meh. It's neutral. They just kind of felt okay with it. They didn't hate it. It could also be very personal to them, like just something that we can't control, right? There might be something in the book that they didn't like at all, or they found a spelling error, which I did have one. My very good friend helped me fix it. He mentioned it and I fixed it and I reprinted my books. I haven't heard of any other errors. I'm sure there's some. Every single book has an error. And then she mentions how the 1s and 2s are just people that want to, say that they hated it. They're trying to insult you, and in her opinion, they're just trying to troll you. Because really, it's not necessary to leave a 1 or a 2. On that note, unless it's like you're buying something, it was very expensive, or whatever the situation is, and you were like, holy cow, this is not what was explained, like what the recap was or anything like that. I have been told that the way I introduce my book, the way the description is, it aligns with the book. So that wouldn't be the reason. But I just also want to say that sometimes people do leave 1 and 2 reviews because maybe the shipping was bad, or maybe it came damaged a couple of times in a row. And they were just like, no, someone, I'm here to protect the other people from this company. I think with books or with movies or whatever, that's a little bit different. I mean, if you really didn't like it, you just move on to the next one. But such is life, and such are people. We know all about the keyboard warriors. So I just wanted to share that. And it's going to happen because you're out there. When you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there for people to be nice, because you have your great supporters that are always going to support you, give you 5s, and write reviews. I have 3 or 4 or 5 now wonderful reviews where you can tell the people actually read the book and went, yes, I have to tell her how I feel about this, and I want to support her by getting more sales by sharing it. And I also had someone on my socials say, there was no reviews when she bought it, and she bought it super fast, she read it super fast, and if she was still teaching in schools, she would use it. And that just absolutely just filled my heart. I was just like, you didn't have to write that, but you did, and that's amazing to me. So there's always good with bad. There's always bad with good, right? So receiving bad reviews can be very disheartening. It's essential to remember that it's just a part of life in any way. So right now we're just talking reviews because we're talking about my book review, but it could be anything, right? Any field where feedback is common: businesses, creative endeavors, services. Definitely services, right? Oh my gosh, there's the Angie's lists out there, and the Yelps and the Google reviews and all of that, right? I mean, you could be on a nice roll of getting, 4 and 5 stars, and people that are going to comment with those 4 or 5 stars. And then you're going to get the ones that just click to be mean, or they click to troll, or they click because they truly didn't like it, but they don't give you a reason for you to build off of. I was hoping that I saw the 3 come through, and I was like, oh, shoot, someone didn't like it. Let's see what they have to say. Maybe there's an error. Maybe they just didn't like it, but there was nothing. So I have nothing to go by. And, I don't know. On my Snapchat, I was mad this morning. I said it was just the coward way to do it. Like, at least explain it to me why. But that was just me being mad. Right away, take a step back. It's natural to feel upset or frustrated. However you react to it impulsively, it's okay. But then take that step back and allow yourself some time to process your emotions, which is what I did. It was really, truly only like 3 minutes. I went, oh, MFer. Okay, fine. That's fine. And, understanding that it's my first book, it's short. I had one person find an error that I fixed. I had another one tell me, very good friend, that told me that she just wished there was more details. And I agree. I'm doing that in my second book. I'm trying to focus on, if I were reading it for the first time, what am I picturing in my head? I tried to be very cautious of that for this first book because it is so personable and so personal that I just didn't want anyone that I talk to now or in my family or friends think that it was about them, because maybe there were some similar situations. I kind of kept guarded. Where this second book, it is full on, I mean, obviously not names, but like full on, this is what happened to me, different kind of stories like in high school and, stuff like that I want people to read so they can relate and then learn from it. And hopefully it's just that feeling of, oh, it happened to somebody else. I can get through this as well. And that's really the whole point of my book, right? I don't want it to be 100% perfect because I'm not perfect, and I'm self-publishing it. And, I am actually, for the second book, I am going to have an editor just to be sure that there are no errors that way. Because that is frustrating when you're reading, you're like, oh, that's spelled wrong, or, you're missing something there. So definitely just want to check on that. Anyways, take a step back, take a deep breath. Okay, it happened. In my situation, they didn't leave anything, so I can't really improve on it. I just have to look at that 3-star. And so when you have to understand the review, if they do write something, just analyze the review objectively. So they always say, do not put emotion to text. That is especially for this. Don't put emotion in. Just read what they're saying. Like, 3 words were misspelled and it really caused the story to fall apart. Okay, go back and fix it, especially if you're a self-publisher, or if you're getting it published and edited, they should have caught it anyways. So that's a whole different episode. But, just understand it, analyze it, but do it in a more don't bring your emotions to it, right? I mean, if they're giving true constructive criticism, deep breath, read it, kind of pick it apart a little bit, and then maybe improve on that. If you can't, because it maybe was like a work review, so you can always write notes, right? If work comes in, your boss comes in and says, we need you to work on this, this, and this, you should always be able to type in or write feedback before it's submitted. If not, find out about that. You should be able to type in yours, like, appreciate that you told me that I did this, this, and this, and then you can reply back on that, on either how you might improve that, or maybe something they missed that you were doing and they didn't think you did. You can always just correct it and have your own words on it, right? And then, always separate the emotional aspect from it, right? Do not put emotions to text ever. Use it as a learning, right? Especially if they're giving some valid points. Like, for example, my friend said, I really wish it was more detailed. When I'm someone, I get lost into a book and I want to picture colors and emotions and sense and just everything that is tied into telling a story. She just wanted to be a part of it. So absolutely going to be working on that. Focus on the positives. So as soon as I shared on my own personal profile, like, yep, here we go. My first 3-star, it took about a month, which isn't, horrible. Someone immediately wrote back on there something positive about it. So it just showed me right away that it's just all in the person that's leaving the review or leaving the stars, or, it just all depends on what that person's looking for. So always reflect on the positive feedback that you've received in the past and that you're going to receive in the future. I mean, if it's business, you've done your best, right? We show up to work to do our best. If we write a book, we show up to do our best. If we write a song, or if we're performing, or whatever it is, we show up to do our best. Being a parent, we show up to do our best. Sometimes the reviews from the kids aren't great. Remember the positives. Remember the positives, okay? And then, if you really can't get over it, like I told my life coach a couple years ago, my self-esteem was so low, I probably would have taken my book offline, cried, and never tried it again. But fortunately, she has helped me build my self-confidence, and it was just kind of like a quick 3 minutes, okay, taking it in, and I'm done. And guess what? The book is still online, and a second one's coming out. So seek support, seek a life coach, seek a therapist, whatever you need if you truly cannot get over it. If it is really bothering you, if it really hurt you, have someone else take a look at that review and have them give you the breakdown. Maybe you can't emotionally break it down to learn from it. So have someone else help you read through it and get a different perspective. Okay. Someone that you trust and someone that's positive. I always say that. And then obviously just learn and improve from it. That's just simple. Read it, learn and improve, but also remember where it's coming from. If it's coming from a trusted source, maybe you want to think about, the final improvement is just on you. Just because someone else says, I didn't like this, this, and this, that doesn't mean you go and improve it. That's one person. And you're the creative, right? Or you're the worker, or you're the, whatever it is, right? So you're always the final approval on this. So you can improve, but if you feel like you did your best, you're done. Move on to the next project. Keep going. Don't let this stop you, right? And then again, take action too if you think it's necessary, and then move on. That's the biggest one. Move on. It was 3 minutes. I'm recording this now, so let's add on another 20 minutes. All right. So it was like 23 minutes in total that I'm thinking about this and talking about it. But now as soon as I close this episode, I'm moving on because I got a second book to finish before March. I already have some pre-orders, which is super amazing. Thank you for the support. So once you process the feedback and you've taken those necessary steps, if you're going to, just let it go. Let go of the negative feelings. Maybe go back and look at the good reviews and be reminded of the people that supported you. I have one review. I have two, actually, that they're long and they're detailed, and you can tell that they read my book because they share details from the book. I have a text message from one of my best friends that shares exactly her feelings after she finished the book, and I go and look at those. I reference those and go, all right, let's keep going. Not that we need anyone from the outside to help us with our feelings or bring in that positivity, because we really should be getting that from within, right? That's, everyone says that you have to get it from within. When you're happy with yourself, you're happy with everything else. But it really does help. So if you haven't gotten any reviews and you haven't gotten any text messages from best friends or phone calls or anything, don't be afraid to reach out to someone that you trust that will be positive and give you that positive feedback, maybe a little constructive criticism, and, listen to what they have to say and then move on. So let's just call this 3 minutes, right? Just 3 minutes of you read it, you go, okay, I'm going to improve on it, or I'm not. I'm going to ask someone else to help me break this down. And then I'm moving on to the next project because that is what we do. So I told you this was going to be short. So thanks so much for listening. Thanks for all the support. If you did read my book, please go give me a 5-star review and write something in there. That would be amazing. Anxiety Makes Me Poop. It's on Amazon. It's an ebook. It's a paperback. It's a hardcover. Whatever you want to do. Or send me an email. That's cool. Send me an email about your thoughts on it. So, but don't be mean. Don't be a troll. Just don't go over there and click, 1, 2, or 3 without leaving anything, Give some reasoning. Cool. All right. Talk to you next time.